Okay, now we are ready to start our skirt. And so we already did sleeve 1, we joined that one. We did sleeve 2, we joined that one. And then we knit across the stitches to our first sleeve. Then we started our ribbing, and we worked ribbing until we got to that other sleeve. We did a purl 2 together, we kept going around, did a purl 2 together, and then we're at our first sleeve again. So now we have the number of stitches the same on the front and the back needle, or half of the needle, and it is 2 times the number that you had for your back. So when you look at our handout that I gave you, it says number of back stitches. You have twice that number. So for mine, I'm making a size medium. That would be 216 stitches. And now I just do my ribbing round and around in a circle and get my 8 rows total of ribbing. So now I'm back at this marker, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start setting up for the skirt. And so what we're going to do is a number of knit 1 front and back, and then across the center of both of these sides. This is the back of the sweater, this is the neck of the sweater, so this is where we're going to bind off. So when we look, what we're looking at right now is page 3, and we're talking about the lower body. So we have done our ribbing, and now we're ready to do our knit front and back. And so what I did is I counted ahead, and I put a marker so I don't have to count as I go. So I counted off how many it told me to do knit 1 front and back, placed a marker, how many it said to knit 1 front and back across to here, and then it said to place another marker, because what we're going to do is establish our ribbing and then bind off our neck, and then we will resume knitting front and back and forth instead of in the round. So that's what we're going to do. So what I need to do first is my knit 1 front and back. I just want to make sure everybody knows how to do that. I have one more purl here so I wouldn't lose my marker. So right now this is our beginning of round marker. And my size says that I need to knit 1 front and back 24 stitches. Or 20, into 24 stitches, so I will end up with 48 stitches at that point. Knit 1 front and back, you simply go into the stitch, you knit it, but you don't remove it from the needle, you just flip it and put it through the back and knit it. Again, you knit into the stitch, you don't remove it, you flip it to the back, knit into the back of the stitch, and you do that across whatever number it says for your size. So for my size it says to do that 24 times. So I will keep doing that. And usually this many increases in that short of a space creates distortion. I didn't find that. I don't know why it looks good, but it does. So just do what she says. And I'll keep doing that till I get to my marker. So I finished my knit front and back, and I went from 24 stitches to 48, and I did count to make sure I hadn't forgotten any. So I'm going to take that marker. It does say in the pattern to place marker, and she does refer to those later. So you want to put your marker in, and then you simply knit across the stitches, and these are going to be the center back of your skirt, and we just knit across. And I don't have to show you that part. So I finished knitting my 60 stitches. I have another marker. Again, the pattern says to place a marker, so I am going to just slip that over there. And now I do 42 knit front and back, and then I place a marker. So I will be doing that. Okay, so I just finished doing my 42 knit front and back. I did go through and count them again to make sure I had 84 stitches, just to make sure I had not forgotten to do it one time or whatever. And now I have my marker, And it does say in the pattern to place the marker. And then it says to purl 2 together. So I'm going to do that. And then it says knit 1, purl 1 times 2, end with a knit 1. So knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. And if that sounds familiar, that is our 6 stitches of, sorry, that is our 6 stitches of edge stitches, because this is going to be our front edge. It will be the right front edge. Now what we're going to do is we are going to cast off the back neck. And this we are going to do with a stretchy bind off. Well, we've already done our stretchy bind off, so we know how to do it. In the original pattern, she had not done a stretchy bind off to this point. She had done a regular bind off. So there's no point in keeping this marker because there won't be anything there. It's going to be an edge, so I'm going to get rid of that. And what she says is purl 1, knit 1, insert left hand needle into those 2 stitches. Well, remember what we did? We worked 2 stitches. We put the needle in front as if it was an SSK, and then we knit those 2 together. And that's what she's doing. I want to make sure I don't split my yarns here. Okay. And so we do that again. We now purl 1. Insert into those 2 stitches, knit 2 together, knit 1, insert it into those stitches like it's an SSK, and we just work all the way across. Now I am using the same needle as I was using to knit the ribbing and everything. I may rip back and go down a needle size, but in this case, this has to go around your neck. It has to be fairly elastic. It's a little different than our sleeve, so I think it's going to work. Okay, we have this stitch on our needle, and I counted to make sure I had 23 stitches to the marker. This is our beginning of round marker. And it says to purl 1, knit 1 times 2. Okay, this is establishing our ribbing. We have our knit stitches already there, and then we just do regular ribbing. And as she has done before, she has us place a marker. And you begin on the edge with the knit and you end with the purl. She has you place a marker, so we've got our marker there already. I'll just put that on there, and then that establishes the ribbing on the left side. We already established it on the right side, and so now we are going to be knitting back and forth. There's only one thing left that she does is you have to do your second part of your knit 1 front and back for this other front. We haven't done that yet. So you're going to do that. For me, I should have the 18 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I'm going to do my knit front and back there. I will get back to this marker, and she says to remove that marker. That was the beginning of the round marker. We don't need it anymore because we're not knitting in the round. So after doing my final set of knit 1 front and back, it says to knit to marker, slip marker 3 times. So you just knit, slip the marker, knit, slip the marker. And what you do is you get to within 6 stitches of the very end. And so what you do then is you do your ribbing as we have been doing all along. Knit 1, purl 1. But then she adds this little thing at the end. And what she's doing is she is making it so you can kind of close this little gap here. And so what she says to do is pick up under that first bind off. Just pick up a stitch under that first bind off. And then you turn, and now we're working back and forth, aren't we? But I'm going to do something a little different than she says. She says just purl the two together, and then you would keep doing your ribbing. So we would go to knit. And now what we're going to do is going to be something so familiar to us. We are going to work row 2 of the chart. So we're going to do the ribbing, then we do the purl 5, knit 2, purl 10, knit 2, etc., etc. And that is establishing our pattern. And then from this point forward, you're just doing the pattern. Now, the first 3 to 4 repeats are the same as we've been doing. And so you just do those as we've been doing them. Once you get to past that point, we're going to start doing some increasing to make the skirt wider. And we'll talk about that next time.